From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Furniture and Mattress 86 is stocked with mattresses. Mattresses starting at $149. Try our 120-night trial. Mattresses come with a 20-year warranty. Up to 72 months, 0 interest. Free local delivery and pickup. Furniture and Mattress 86 on Merchant Avenue across from the post office in Reading. If you find it for less, you should buy it.
Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and we're going to be looking at another warm day, although not as hot as we typically can get this time of the year. Should stay below 100 degrees, near normal this week. But by the end of the week, and especially this weekend, we do expect to see the bigger heat to begin to return. Also, there is a slight chance for a few stray sprinkles or light showers for some of the mountains here today and tomorrow, but few and far between. Don't count on much, if anything. And as I mentioned, that bigger heat is expected to arrive really mostly as we go into the second half of the weekend and going into next week as well. Here's your neighborhood forecast at a quick glance here. Yeah, maybe some isolated activity for Siskiyou County, maybe some of the eastern mountains as well, Modoc County too, but overall we just don't expect to see much activity out there. Let's take a look at that fire weather forecast here for today, and you can see those winds are, they're picking up a little bit in the afternoon. That's nothing unusual, nothing to be terribly concerned about. We see the winds die down again here for tonight, tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, they may be a bit stronger, especially for the north and west side of the valley and eastern mountains, seeing some gusty winds at times as well. Taking you into your Thursday, once again, a little bit breezier than I'd like to see it for your Thursday afternoon, mainly west of I-5, but also a bit breezy out towards the eastern mountains. And notice too, southern Humboldt County, seeing some gusty winds at times as well. The humidity is something we also need to watch. Now, it is going to be very low for today. I do expect to see some minor improvement, but still very dry as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. But as you can see, those humidity levels are slightly going up, but still, once again, in the 10 to 20% range, which is still very dry. For the latest on any new fires that should develop and the fire weather, just go to weathernorcal.com. and click on the fire danger section and you'll get the latest on any fires. Taking a look at the satellite image, we've got a storm system over the Gulf of Alaska, which is essentially riding over the ridge, flattening it, and that is really what is suppressing that heat. But that won't last forever. More on that in just a little bit here. There you can see this afternoon. All right, not much going on, is there? But yeah, maybe if you see a stray sprinkler or light shower for Siskiyou, Modoc County, Lassen County, don't be surprised. The fog really persisting here, even for tomorrow afternoon, although maybe some more breaks in the fog tomorrow afternoon for the coast. Otherwise, you are seeing that afternoon convection once again, especially to the north out towards Siskiyou and Modoc County. If you see a stray sprinkle or light shower, don't be surprised. Once again, mainly dry. And then Thursday, there's that fog to start off, but I expect more sunshine for the coast for Thursday afternoon. More afternoon convection for the mountains. Could it mean some showers? A slight chance, but once again, it's mainly just going to be in the form of those afternoon puffy cumulus clouds. So this cooler air to our north, you see how it's riding through Canada. But what that's doing is it's flattening out the ridge, it's preventing the heat from building in at least through the next several days. However, as we do go into the second half of the weekend especially and early next week, high pressure will begin to build in from the desert southwest. That's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to warm us up. And number two, it's going to prevent that cooler air over the Gulf of Alaska from moving in. It's essentially blocking that colder air from moving in. And as a result, we're going to be back to over 100 degrees for many of us in the valley. And what that means is probably anywhere from, say, 103, 106 degrees. I do think we could get up to 105 or slightly higher for some areas in the valley. As you can see, the 10-day trend for Reading, there it is, right around normal for today through really the end of the week. But by the end of the week, into the weekend, temperatures starting to increase, and we're going to be over 100 degrees most likely through the weekend, and most likely even through the most, if not all, of next week. All right, let's take a look at our forecast for today. Your temperature is in the low to mid 90s in the valley, 80s for the north and eastern mountains, but for Trinity County, inland areas, low 90s. Otherwise, low 60s for your daytime highs out along the coast. Tonight, low 60s for the valley. We're talking 40s and 50s for the higher elevations and probably somewhere in the low 50s for the coast. Looking at your 7-day forecast for the valley, keeping it sunny, warming things up, back up to over 100 degrees by the weekend, and that'll continue into next week. 7-day forecast for the coast, inland and Trinity County. Still looking at dry conditions, partly to mostly cloudy skies for the coast. There will be some days where we see more sunshine than others, other days that fog persisting. Temperatures are going to be increasing inland and for Trinity County, especially as we go into the weekend and early next week. There's a look at your 7-day forecast for Siskiyou, Modoc County, the Eastern Mountains. I have just included a isolated in there, right? If you see a stray sprinkle light shower, don't be surprised. Honestly, I may be taking these out. It's just going to be few and far between, should even anything develop. It's just one of those things where if you're out and about in these areas, don't be surprised if you run into a stray sprinkle or light shower, but otherwise you're dry. Warming up over the weekend, especially going into next week. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back again at 6 o'clock this evening. Have a great afternoon.